I'm just going to give you all a Max update video. A lot has been going on behind the scenes. We don't really know what's causing it. I think he does get a little bit sad. His welfare is my priority. I just wasn't too happy with. We're kind of only two real options as to what we do next. Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's video. So this week's video is a little bit different, and I'm just going to give you all a Max update video because I know you've all been asking after him and a lot has been going on behind the scenes. So a lot of you will already know, but if you don't know, Max had, I say an injury, he was never lame with it. I have done a previous update video that does explain all of that, but I'll just briefly explain it. Last August, just had a little bit of a swelling on his front left foot. Never lame, he was going really well at the time. He had just done a couple of events and come second, I think, and then fourth or fifth. He was feeling really good. But this swelling came up, so I got the vet out and he was never lame, but we both sort of agreed, the vet and myself, that, you know, this was maybe a warning sign that something else was gonna happen. So he had a steroid injection into it and then went on 2 weeks box rest and then went on to pen rest for 6 weeks, 4 or 6 weeks, I think. Swelling came right down. We reassessed. Obviously he was never lame to begin with, so that's quite difficult. We had scanned him, but it was just showing some inflammation, showing nothing else. So then we started to bring him back into work. So I did that really slowly. We did loads and loads of walk work. So he was in work about, I want to say like 12 weeks, because we did at least 6 weeks walking and then slowly introduced the trot and up the trot slowly every single time. And we just got to the point where we were doing like 1 or 2 canters a session. He was feeling really good. And then the swelling came back up. So again, he still wasn't lame. He wasn't bothered by the swelling. It wasn't hot. You can touch it, you know, poke it, whatever you want to do, and he doesn't care. But I thought, again, okay, there's a reason for this, so I can stop the work straight away. I spoke to my vet again, but there were kind of only 2 real options as to what we do next, because we couldn't really, we don't really know what's causing it. So those 2 options were an MRI scan or surgery. I don't know the official name, and they basically go in and that means they can see what's going on, and if there was anything going on that they might be able to tidy up, say, you know, the tendon or something, it was slightly frayed, they could tidy that up. But obviously both of those options are, for starters, expensive. So I'm not keen on the surgery option, because obviously there can be lots of risks associated to that, and it still doesn't mean, you know, they're going to then go in, have to obviously knock him out, I don't know what, sedate him heavily. There is another word for that, can't remember. Anyway, so I'm not too keen on that. So I kind of was opting for the MRI, but my vet then spoke to Lip Hook and they kind of said that the MRIs for his sort of swelling, they really aren't that conclusive and they don't show a lot. So then that kind of put another spanner in the works. Obviously that's again a lot of money to spend if then it might not show anything. So I was kind of stuck between these 2 options, you know, because also he's not lame, never has been, is completely comfortable on it. And I really like surgery. For me is last resort. I only want to do that if I absolutely have to, you know. Same with humans, you don't want to have to operate unless you really have to. I spoke to my vet and I decided to turn him away. My plan was to turn him away for a further sort of 8 months you know, we're still going out in the field because he was sound, and we agreed I wasn't ever going to keep him on box rest for, you know, that long. I wouldn't do that. Turnout is really important to me. He was sound. He also, my horses don't really run round, and there's more risk if he were to stay in for a length of time and then go out. So, yes, I know. So I decided to turn him away. So that was in about December last year. I know you're getting bored. Good boy. So he was just turned away. And then I have since tried a couple of alternative methods, shall we say. I got these recommendations from a friend who, if you've watched here a long time, you will remember she used to work for me. Lauren, she had real success stories, so I asked her opinion. So, two things. I was contemplating changing him to barefoot because various reasons, because I know lots of people are anti-barefoot. I used to be anti-barefoot, I would say. Well, not anti, I just wouldn't do it with my horses. But I know that is changing, and lots of top show jumpers are barefoot. He also copes really well. He's not like Zeb. Zeb wouldn't be able to go barefoot. But I'd already taken the back shoes off anyway because he was going to have 8 months off, so he did not need the back shoes. So we'd already taken them off and he was comfortable straight away. He didn't actually have back shoes on when I first got him. I then was contemplating and wanted to look into him going barefoot. I felt like some of his problems, well, the swelling was potentially to do with his feet. I know, good boy. I know barefoot can be really good for them. And obviously I had the time to transition him. I wasn't then, you know, I'm not trying to ride him, compete him, do loads of work where, you know, that it can be difficult for them to go from having shoes to barefoot. The shape of his feet with the shoes on, I just wasn't too happy with. Nothing to do with my farrier. I'm very happy with my farrier. Still got my farrier for the others, but I just felt like shoes basically weren't, for me, I felt like shoes weren't helping the situation. So I got a barefoot trimmer out and she sort of agreed with me. We then have taken the shoes off. Now, I'm really pleased with, so I used the same barefoot trimmer that Lauren uses, and I know someone else who also is show jumping her horse at 1.30 m barefoot, and she had an injury prior, and they use this barefoot trimmer and have gone barefoot, and it's been the best thing ever. So the barefoot trimmer was really, really good and said, you know, if he's not happy with being barefoot, we'll obviously try it, then, you know, we'll put the shoes back on. So I liked that because obviously his welfare is my priority. She was really, really good actually, and saw it from my point of view, isn't someone who wants all horses to be barefoot. She understands some can't. So I have taken his front shoes off as well, and he is now barefoot. And he's going really well. He was actually really comfortable. As soon as she took them off, he wasn't really footsore at all, actually, because obviously I know some of them, you know, they can be because they've had shoes on, and he was really comfortable from straight away. So I kind of knew I'd done the right thing. And like I say, you know, he was having the time off, so I felt like he didn't need the shoes anyway. But then if we can make his feet better, in better condition and in better shape, then that's a bonus. I need to look back at some notes actually to see if I've got any of this. So please don't, I'm obviously not a farrier, I'm not a barefoot trimmer. This is just what's working for us at the minute. Doesn't mean to say that he'll be barefoot forever. I'm giving it a go. I also really liked that she said, you know, if then we get him back on track and you want to event again, because obviously he events at a reasonably high level and you kind of do need the studs, you can get away with, you know, eventing 90, 100 on grass barefoot, but when you get up to sort of novice, you do need the studs. So I was a little bit concerned about that. However, he also is a very good show jumper, so I thought worst comes to worst, I'll just show jump him. But she did say if we then get his feet into a good place, it doesn't mean to say that you can't have shoes on in the season and then have them off for the winter. Which I really, really liked actually, and didn't think you could really do that much of a mixture. So we're trying that in a minute. His feet, I'm going to pop a few photos in actually to show you the change, because we take photos every single time she comes and you can really tell a difference actually. So I'm really, really pleased with that at the minute. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing was I had a Bowen therapist. So again, I'm going to input in text now exactly what they do because I can't remember off the top of my head. I think they do, it's like manipulation of the soft tissue. Something like that. I'm going to input that anyway. She was really helpful. We actually found he did actually have quite a lot of tension through the left shoulder. So I think that wasn't helping. That also could be because he's compensating, but for both of them. So she's seen him a couple of times, and he's getting better each time actually. And she also recommended some supplements for him to have because his digestion wasn't great. In the winter he was on haylage, and then his poos were normal, but he would end up pooing liquid basically. Not all the time, he'd have normal poos, but that was just in between. Straight away she said digestion isn't great, and if the gut is out, then that's not going to help heal anything else. So we kind of wanted to deal with the gut to help then heal the swelling, because if the gut's all out, and I think that's the same with humans, then his body wasn't going to be able to repair the leg. So straight away she said take him off the haylage, put him on hay. I did that made a huge difference straight away actually. And it's interesting because he can cope with the haylage in the summer, but in the winter he can't. Not really sure why that is. So basically we wanted to improve the gut microbiome. The supplement we've used for that is Ocean Feed Equine, so that adds stability to the gut. We then needed to absorb the endotoxins, which is Ampro Healthy Gut. That was just used at times when you need it, so he's been on it while he had that, and we were changing over to the hay, and then I'll just use that like when he goes from summer to winter, and then reduce inflammation of the gut lining. So I also then contacted a company called, I think it was Silver Lining Herbs, and tell them what his issues are. So I've got 3, a digestive one for the kidneys, and then one to do with tendon and bone. I will just say that I'm not one to just throw loads of supplements, but what I thought was, this lady, she really knows her stuff. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. She's helping Izzy with Tiny as well, and I would really recommend her. And like I say, I used her off of a recommendation. Lauren, who I know, who has had a huge success story, and I just thought, it's worth a go. It's worth giving it a go at this point and seeing if we can help Max and sort this issue without having to do the surgery, because he was going to have the full 8 months off anyway, so it wasn't going to hurt. So that's where we're at the minute. And then we basically are introducing small amounts of walk work. Doing some walk work. He does quite a lot of long reining, only for 15 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time, so it's not a lot. Encourages the feet to grow in the way you want. I also have some hoof boots for his front feet. I'll put in a couple of pictures. They're the Cavallo. Oh my God, don't know how to say them. Cavallo. I think that's how you say it. If he's in the school, he's okay, but actually they just help with the way he places the foot down, so that he's sort of going heel first before he was going toe. I'll put a couple, it's really good because she does some slow-mo videos of him walking each time, and he's getting better and better, and the stride length is getting better and better. I think he's obviously still turned out. They've now switched over, so he gets turned out overnight and comes in the day. There's no pressure for him to do anything this year. I just want to take it really slowly. I want to get his feet in the best possible condition so that they can then support everything else, because the feet are obviously one of the most important structures, and I feel like his feet were quite with the shoes had kind of gone a bit splayed and flat, and he had no cushioning at the back. There was no support. So we feel like that may be putting some strain up through the lower leg, hence there being a swelling. Obviously, we don't know this, that's not that, but that's kind of our feeling. Again, I'm not a vet, but I know my horses very well. And because he's never been lame, I felt like it was something that was just straining something slightly. But he is very well, he's very happy, you know, he's loving life, being out in the field with the others. So I have just talked for a long time there, but I hope that explains it all to you guys. Feel free to ask any questions. Obviously, everyone will have their own opinion, and I completely understand that barefoot, the bone might not be for everyone. And I'm not sitting here, you know, it may not have been for me a couple of years ago, but when you get to a point where you kind of have to try, it's worth giving things a try. And with having, you know, a recommendation with really, really good success story, I just felt like it was worth a try for me and for Max. But yeah, he is happy. He's being very well looked after. He just does need a forelock and a mane tidy up at the minute, don't you? Hey? I think he does get a little bit sad when the others go out, like hacking to Brams Hill and go to some competitions, but we've got to look after you, haven't we? And that is my main priority. So thank you guys for watching. Bit different this week, but we will see you for the next one.